Are the pressures of gatherings, family dynamics, and busy schedules starting to stress you out? If so, stay tuned for ways to reduce stress during the holiday season. Limiting exposure to triggers. So we know what really upsets us and what can happen, or look back and ask yourself, was there a time that I got really upset? And what was it exactly? What were the thoughts that created me to get emotionally dysregulated? So being able to really reduce exposure to the known triggers that you have, this can really prevent stress and emotional setbacks. Because if we're dysregulated, we're not going to be able to handle all the stress, and we're going to maybe say things that we don't mean, and it's going to potentially damage relationships. And that is definitely not the goal, right? So being able to identify people, places, or situations that feel really overwhelming and just try to limit your exposure. We limit the time that you spend with them, or not at all. If it's a specific thing where there's a misunderstanding, the next thing that we're going to talk about is utilizing DBT for emotional regulation. DBT is a great way to help with dealing with our triggers because, number one, if we're triggered, we shouldn't be trying to problem solve, right? So one, just recognizing, okay, I am really upset right now, right? And okay, so I'm not in a position to have that hard conversation, so I need to take a step back and I need to take care of myself, do some self-care, and really be able to get clear with why I'm upset so that way I can communicate in an effective way that helps a relationship versus damages it. This is the process. We start learning about ourselves, and if we put ourselves in situations that we know we're going to get upset, that's not productive, right? This is part of self-care. Being able to care for ourselves by limiting the exposure to the things that we know can upset us.
Yeah, I think for sure limiting the exposure is definitely so important to be able to recognize those triggers, like you mentioned. Even just taking a second to notice in your body, like I'm feeling a little anxious or I'm feeling angry or overwhelmed. Oftentimes we can sense those things in our bodies. So if you notice that starting to come up, instead of ignoring it and staying in that, take that time to go then take the pause if you're in the situation and use some of these techniques that we've mentioned already today, the breathing techniques, maybe go for your mindful walk and then come back and see the other techniques that we'll mention, maybe the DBT and whatnot to help with the situation. Yeah.
Totally. So one thing that comes to mind is sometimes my mom can say things that can really instantly trigger me. And so what I've learned, right, is to come to my breath and maybe take a break, go to the bathroom, shut the door, take a moment to myself and try to calm myself down. Because like I don't want to freak out because of this inappropriate or rude comment that she made. And then I have to ask myself, like, oh, okay, why am I getting so upset? Anyway, taking that time to just excuse yourself and either go for a walk or take a break, go to the bathroom, whatever you need. And then when you're calm, then you can approach potentially having that conversation. Hey, what you said actually like really hurt my feelings, or XYZ.